stuck and not getting paid, and if this is what you have to deal with. And I think what I've had to learn, and I try to tell people this about like politics and the internet, is that most people aren't online. Most people aren't even consuming the internet. Those that aren't commenting. So it's a percentage of people. And that megaphone is so loud, but it's really not that many people. And I think we're getting past that part of society where those several dozen, collectively several thousand, whoever it is, people that want to put a coalition to petition against this or that, they're really like not a representative of overall society. Most people are reasonable. Now, I'm not defending fraud or DUIs or things like that. I'm just saying, in most cases, the internet is the most aggressive opinion, unrelenting, hard to change somebody's mind. And that's probably the type of person that's just online nonstop. And most people, when you have a conversation with them, we're all like in the 90% club. Like whether you're on the left or on the right, most people can all sit down and have a meal together.
I agree 100%. I truly don't feed the beast either. Well, first of all, I agree. I truly think this is what it comes along with the job. I know that you can say the most horrible things about me. That is in my job description. It is. That it just is. So it shocks me because these housewives are in people's DMs, they're in people's comments. I'm blocked by so many people. It's like that is the job. It's nothing personal. So when it's against me, like a Reddit thread or something, I don't care. I'm like, that is the job, David. If you want to go and have 3 followers, there will be nobody talking about you. So I agree with you. That is the
And if I
job. Thank
do
God.
comment, I'll try to do it in a way that still furthers my career. Like I'll make a merchandise shirt off of it or something. I had another content creator edit me out of their episode, when someone like shouted me out, and I made a shirt out of it and made a couple grand. And I was like, my audience wanted to support me. They wanted to support the fact that I got snipped by this other dude. But yeah, I mean, most people, haters, they exist and they're still consuming the content. And I think most reasonable people just aren't activated the type to comment online, and they exist more so. And I think what I've had to realize, like if I'm doing a stand-up set in front of 200 people, I have to be very selective when to respond to the heckler, because I might have 199 people that are having a good time laughing, and then if I ruin it by pulling this one person's heckle, if like they have to be like loud enough that it bothers the whole room. And that's how I feel about the internet. Like if someone's loud enough that it has to be addressed, it will. But in most cases, you just move on and you realize that like I was even on Reddit, I was banned from one of the large channels just for contributing, really, and as a commenter. And I just had to realize that those chat rooms were not for me anymore. Like they used to be, but they aren't anymore. Now I'm at a different level where I'm going to present my opinions. People can do with it what they want. And then I have to go, because if I try to please all of these different people, I become the thing that I am criticizing that Bachelor has become, which is watered down, no opinions, no bold takes and whatever. So you just have to go like, that's it. Give your opinion. I might get shit for it. I really thought about it. I like practiced the 4 agreements. If I really believe something, like I said about Selling Sunset, I believe that these women on the show have the right to get breast implants and do all that. I also believe I wouldn't want my impressionable daughter to watch that and think that that's a beauty norm. I can have those both things, and it doesn't shame the adults. It just says like there's a nuance here to how we talk about this.
I agree with that. Why you were on someone used a clip of yours and edited you out. Oh, people edit me out all the time. They're
Yeah,
like,
I was mentioned on Nick Vile's podcast by
oh, of course.
Clayton Eckert, and he's the guy who we raised all this money to help him because he was under a fake pregnancy scandal. His accuser has been charged with 7 felonies. I'm a witness for the state of Arizona now in a trial. He mentioned me, and Nick edited it out. And it's like he didn't edit it out for time. He edited it out because he didn't want me to get credit on his platform. which is
Correct.
ridiculous. It's almost like plagiarism. It's like you took credit away when someone was giving it. And I called it out and I was like, this is just, it's just stupid. So he called me some podcaster and I made Dave Neal some podcaster shirts and all these people bought them. It was just a fun moment to be like, you can do that. You're allowed, like legally you can do that, but the world I come from, where like comedians with podcasts all try to help each other. We all try to help each other because we're better sort of united and supporting each other. If a comic has a new album that comes out, all the other comics have them on their podcast because you just like, that's the sort of union world that I come from. And there's some people that come up through reality TV that have a starvation mindset, a scarcity mindset. And those people, it's just like Nick never has Jared Freed on. Jared Freed's a really successful comedian who had Nick on his podcast, and then Jared felt really shortchanged because it wasn't reciprocated. And I know alumni that he won't have on that like it would be. So my whole issue was that no one was interviewing Clayton Echard when he was going through this big trial. It was the biggest scandal in Bachelor, and no one would interview him because they were like afraid of getting sued and all these things. And it was like, have some fucking balls. This is why we have podcasts. This is why we do this. So we don't have a boss. So we can do this. And, here I am in my pajamas calling out some $30 million podcast because they wouldn't have the stones to like, help a brother out, a Bachelor alumni.
Well, let's be honest. We could all be boiled down to one simple thing. If Nick Viall were confident in his business, confident in his place in the world, confident and secure, he would not need to edit you out. Period. There's nothing else there's no other, that's it. Period.
Yeah, done. Yeah, it's fine. Because
Period.
I don't have a anyway. I don't, you get it. It's and like I respect his business and I respect that he doesn't comment on every small thing and he doesn't feed it. But that was like that's not. No one's asking for him to comment. It's like you don't like that's taking food off. It's actually insulting to my audience who raised the funds for Clayton to even get the lawyer. My audience raised like well over $25,000. 10 for me, 10 for Clayton, 5 for an investigator, like an expert that they had to hire to verify text messages. 30, probably 30, $40,000. And here he comes in 4 months later and interviews Clayton after all of the damage was done, being like, oh, I did a good job. I interviewed him. When all of these podcasters were sitting on all of this evidence for months, just waiting to see how it played out. And that's like so dangerous because that's when he was needing all of the support from Bachelor Nation, and he didn't get it. And it was like I come from like sports worlds and fraternities and worlds where people kind of like do try to help each other out. Like if I really needed help, all my podcaster friends would help round come together and do a benefit or whatever. Like people would help each other, and then Bachelor is a community of people that all had to cut each other down to get to where they are. And this isn't everyone. There's some amazing people in there. But then there's the people that like, there's a reason they got to the top. And that reason is they had to burn a lot of bridges to get there.
Bravo is just as bad. These podcasters are jealous. Mind you, when you talk about like you don't feed the beast and you don't read the things about you, I don't do that. But so many of these podcasters are like fighting with each other, and I'm just like, nobody cares. Like this isn't this. I don't know.
What's funny is there
It's
was a
interesting.
podcaster. I can't say there's a few, and they revolve in the Bravo world. And I got involved in a case that the Bravo community got involved in, and there was so much drama. It was almost like you could feel the fire in the other room, even though the door was closed. And I was like, and I'm not saying that Bachelor has its own drama, but I was like, this is too much. Like people were making like content creators were sharing statements, disavowing each other on Instagram. And I'm like, we're all on the same side of the microphone here. You know what I mean?
And I feel I have so distanced myself from any of that. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years. You've been doing this forever. Once you distance yourself from it, and I think people know, like, I won't engage, no one bothers you. Like, I will not engage. There's no clapping back, there's no response from me. Go. So there's not going to be any fire. You're doing this and cartoons and back and I just won't engage. So I think people know that. It's
And
like a
it's not
bully
sustainable.
mentality.
It's well, and because here's the thing, right? If your product as a business becomes the drama, which a lot of these housewives, like we said, it all ties in, right? They have to deliver that. So if you become that drama, you have to consistently put yourself in dramatic situations in order to feed that audience. I'd rather people
Correct.
walk, like I'm not, and again, I'm not saying I don't get riled up about things. I have strong opinions, but I'd rather have an audience walk if they think they need to feed. Like I'm not the giving tree. You're not gonna resort me down to a stump. I need to be sustainable with my thoughts and opinions. So yeah, those boundaries, and they take a while to learn. Having a baby has really helped because I can't be on some like internet war with my kid looking at me like, why is daddy on that screen? Like you just have to learn to have a little bit of a boundary, separate from whatever this controlled fire is, and don't let it get too, all consuming.
And I agree. If you make yourself the center of that story and it's work and you clock in and you clock out, bravo to you. I agree. It's not sustainable. If you make yourself the center of that story and you're fighting with another podcaster and it's eating you up, which it does to most people, and you are now taking this outside of the recording, outside of the download, outside of the click, you are now living a miserable life that is consumed by drama because of yourself. And
Yeah.
I refuse to live that
I
life.